baby. 3, 2, 1.
Hello guys, Tune here back again. This week we're going to do a bit of shmupping action on the Mass System. This is Sagaia, which is pretty much an arcade conversion of Darius 2, which came out in 1989, which was a free screen, or more commonly a two-screen arcade shoot 'em up. Basically, a rough plot of this is you've come from planet Darius, and the Belsar army or whatever people are trying to basically destroy you, so there's not really a huge amount to it. The story's kicking up there, but yeah, I love Darius 2. Say this is the Mass System conversion, which is quite ambitious, I would say, for a Mass System game, to be honest, but we'll start it up. So in here you could basically change your lives, change your auto fire, change it on easy and normal. I'm going to play in easy because it still is quite tough and easy actually. I say this game only came out on PAL territories, so it was pretty much in Europe only. I don't know why they did that. It's a bit odd for a Japanese arcade game to come out in Europe only. Perhaps it's something to do with Sega or Taito converted to themselves. I'm not sure exactly who did the conversion. But so let's start it up. First thing you notice about this game, it's actually kept the arcade sort of line-scrolling flame on the first level flame planet, which is quite impressive for a Mass System, even though it is a little bit jerky. But as you can see in this version, graphics are quite nice. They're pretty decent. You can definitely tell this is Darius 2. The music, even though it uses the PSG sound chip, I don't know whether there is an FM version of this, but the music is quite cool. You can definitely tell it's Darius music. You got the same power-ups and everything as the Darius ships. I'm not sure whether this one is two-player. I don't believe it is, but I could be wrong. I tell you what, I would be quite impressed if it actually was two-player. So basically you fight your way through the levels, you get to different bosses at the end. All the enemies are all based on fish, as in all the Darius games. You fight the massive boss at the end, and then you get you can basically choose a planet to go to next, or part of the solar system. This is like Darius 2, where you can choose what part of the solar system you want to go to, but it is a cut down version of Darius. Like this one's only got 12 levels, but you know, pretty decent for a Mass System. I say the Mega Drive's got a very nice conversion of this arcade game as well, or the Saturn version, which probably is the best version, especially on a widescreen telly. It looks quite nice. See, the one thing I would say about this is sometimes when there's a lot of stuff on screen, as you can see over there, you get slowdown, which can make it a little bit awkward to dodge bullets. That's probably my one complaint about this, is the slowdown. Definitely, it doesn't just slow down, I think it just drops frames as well, which does make it a little harder to see what you're doing sometimes. Or your controls, at least, they go a little bit loose. Hit then. So I'm a big fan of the Darius games. Really like the Darius games. The arcade game is really impressive. Still quite an impressive looking arcade game, especially with the well, if you are lucky enough to see the free screen version, but the two screen version is very nice. A little bit of trouble here. Let's get a shield. Thing with the Darius games as well, with the power-ups, you have to collect multiple power-ups. Say you collect about 4 or 5 shields, your shield will go silver, and then your shield will take more hits. Same with your weapons, you can power this laser up a few times and then it'll change into like a ball laser type weapon. Then you get like a proper single laser weapon. You have to do that in all the Darius games. Eventually you power yourself up. The only problem with that system is that if you die before powering up, you literally go back to the weapon you had when you started with, which can make the game incredibly difficult. These things at the bottom, if you can shoot them, they're actually big explosions, so it'll kill this ship straight away. Yeah, it's a bit odd why this only ever come out in Europe. Strange, like, I don't know. You would have thought that this would have come out, well, maybe not in Japan, but maybe America. Alright, I know, like, the mass system wasn't particularly very popular in America or Japan, but I suppose Europe was the place for the mass system. I had one back in the day, and I loved it, basically. The Nintendo itself wasn't that popular over here. It was also very expensive. So anyway, guys, this is where you actually choose your levels to go through the universe to get right to the end. On the arcade game, there's a lot more planets and stuff, but you know, this does a fair representation of the arcade game, to be honest, and its levels. You want to try and keep your shield as much as possible. I want to get it there. That was lucky. I'm quite impressed how well this conversion actually is, considering it's a low-end 8-bit machine. This conversion is very good. There are a few differences, you know, that does hang around a lot longer on the arcade version to make it a bit easier for you to blow it up. But imagine if you had a mass system back in the day and you had this, you'd be quite impressed. It's a shame that he does get that frame skipping. I need to get the silver shield because that'll last a lot longer, the silver shield. Sneaky they are. I say this game got converted to lots of things. It's called Sagaia, but it is Darius 2 basically, but why they called it Sagaia I'm not quite sure. There was a Game Boy version of Darius 2 which was called Sagaia, so maybe this was a conversion of that. I'm not entirely sure, but normally it's just Darius 2. Power up with it, get that. Got a much better weapon now. I said I had this for my mass system back in the day, like, and I was quite impressed with the conversion. Even though if you definitely put it on the higher difficulty levels, it's quite tricky. Especially with that frame dropping, which is a little bit of a shame it's got that, but you know, it's a mass system, I suppose. What do you expect? Quite well for you guys. I say if you've got a PS4 and you're into the Darius games, if you jump on the Japanese store, you can get the original Darius arcade game for cheap. I think it's probably about 800 yen, something like that. Or you can actually buy Darius Burst, which is fantastic. It's a bit expensive, Darius Burst, but to be honest, it's well worth the money. It's got absolutely shed loads of levels on Darius Burst. Pretty amazing arcade game as well. And the PS4 conversion is pretty much arcade perfect. I'm going to try and blow this thing up here. What's cool about this, it does actually have the bosses like the arcade. Alright, they're not as good looking as the arcade, but in the arcade you blow this up and you go inside in, there's like another fish boss actually in his guts. But you actually do this on this game. Sorry about that, guys, that coughing. Bit sneaky that is. Ooh, comes back. That's it, he's dead this time. That's 2 levels down. Doing well, got a silver shield as well, or slightly blue coloured shield. But yeah, it's even got like it's got the arcade intro on this as well. It has the little bit where the ship zooms off at the end. Pity it doesn't. Well, I wouldn't expect it to have the speech, to be honest. But even the Mega Drive version doesn't have any of the actual arcade speech. Which is this game is where I get my actual gaming name from, Tuna Sashimi. One of the last things the woman says on the radio before they start the levels, I always want the thing called Tuna Sashimi. I say, when if you do pick the other levels on this game, it gets harder. Like the lower levels are generally the harder levels. So this is the sort of easy route on the arcade. Same with Darius Burst. Darius Burst has got loads of routes through the game. Here, you sort of easy, normal, hard, and expert. Completely different levels. A lot harder, a lot more bullets going on. Same in this, basically. Like if you do the bottom route to get right down to Z. Then that's the hardest route on the game, but this game doesn't have that. But you can still take the bottom route, which is your hardest route through. So I always liked about the Darius games, was all that sort of stuff. Should have kept that really instead of blowing it up. So I'm doing quite well with power-ups now. As you notice with these Darius games, once you lose your power-ups, you are in trouble. The last shield you get is a gold shield. The gold shield is really good. It can take a hell of a lot of hits. Like this bit can be a little bit tricky. Here comes that slowdown, so if you adjust for that slowdown by not pushing any direction for too long, it's not too bad. Because it's like tap dodgy. I say the PSG sound chip on this, it actually did some pretty decent renditions of the Darius tunes. Quite surprising. I do have a little bit of a fondness for the Master System sound, I don't know why. The FM sound, which I've never had access to it, but I've heard it sounds good, but I don't know, I quite like the PSG sound. But there is a podcast out there that does game music, and they explain how the sound chips work and all that. And if you play this game on a Mega Drive, which is pretty much what I'm doing now, the Mega Drive was actually capable of doing the PSG sound and the Mega Drive sound at the same time. So you could have Mega Drive games that use both sound chips. Apparently there weren't that many games that actually did it, but you could use the PSG for like sound effects and stuff, and use the Mega Drive's FM for music, which is pretty cool. I think things like Streets of Rage used that to a great effect, hence the music on that game is pretty amazing. Right, here we go, third boss, giant snake should be. Gotta watch this snake, he does ram you. Oh, I can kill him really fast like that. Normally he comes up the screen, wiggles up to the top, stops, and then he aims straight for you. Let's go to... I'm gonna go the easy route if I can. So the game starts going a lot more tricky from here. You can get four-way lasers as well. They basically go in all angles. They're really handy to have, they are. Got to watch the things on the floor. Those missiles will rise right to the point where you are and then fly straight at you. So you've got to like sort of duck underneath them. Got to keep an eye out for that because you will get caught by them. Oh, another shield. Ooh, as I get it. So I do like the Darius games. I am a bit of a Darius fan, to be honest. I know a lot of people like... I love the Radius games, I love the Darius games. I think I do actually prefer the Darius games. I don't know, something about the Darius games. I always keep coming back to them and keep playing them. They've made some fantastic games over the years as well. Like you say, you got Darius Burst, which is the latest one. You had Darius 1, Darius 2, which are pretty amazing. They did Darius Gaiden, and they did like an expert version of that game as well in the arcades. That's brilliant, Darius Gaiden. There is a PS1 arcade game, Darius, I don't know what it's called, Darius, can't remember what that one's called now, but it's like a 3D version of the Darius games. That's very good as well. It looks a bit dated these days, as PS1 sort of 3D graphics do, but still a pretty class game nevertheless. Plus the Darius games got converted to various consoles. There's two SNES only Darius games which are both really good. One's stupidly expensive, the other one isn't. Like I said, they were converted to handhelds and everything, the Darius games. But I gotta say, there's still nothing like playing them in the arcades on the dual screen. Especially Burst, two 32-inch widescreen monitors next to each other, side by side. It's quite impressive. When I was in Tokyo, I was playing that thing a lot. I was going to get it then. It was a bit of a dodgy thing to collect that power up, but ooh. Yeah, I was playing on the Darius Burst arcade game. It's just... it's an assault on the senses, that arcade game. It's massive. The screen looks huge. And it's just... it's an impressive arcade machine. 4 players as well, which is cool. I say Toyota used some of the Darius cabinets for Ninja Warriors. It's a very similar cabinet. Oh, he's dead. Kill that damn crab. Yeah, they used the same cabinet for Ninja Warriors. I'm pretty sure there was a free screen version of Ninja Warriors again, because I'm pretty sure I played on it. That's not a fantastic arcade game, but I do like it. And that Daddy Milk song is amazing. I think I might well be at full power now. Dun, 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 dun. See, the renditions of the soundtracks are really good, you can really recognise them. So the more I play this conversion, I'm more impressed with it. Oh damn, I haven't got a shield. I'm in trouble. I need a shield quite badly. Oh, I've got a gold one as well. That's handy. This shield can take a lot more hits. And I've got my laser that fires on all the angles as well. I should... a little bit hard to dodge. Ooh. That's interesting. On the arcade you do scroll up and down. So obviously they're taking those bits out. That's right though. That's quite a nice rendition of the arcade level that is actually as well. Oh, my shield's gone. Oh no. Yep, back to my single weapon. Now we're screwed, I think. Oh, that was close. this sort of problem where you lose your weapons, it's not so bad on Darius Burst, but on the original Darius games, you lose your weapon, you are in trouble. Die quick once your weapons are gone. I can't kill anything. I literally can't kill anything fast enough. Yeah, a huge battleship approaching. Yamato. Which one is this? Oh, the actual ship. This is going to be very difficult. Well, I'm not going to get it at the moment, so I'm just going to carry on doing this. Concentrating. Oh no, that was silly. Just need to make sure I get those missiles. I'm in trouble if I don't get them. No more lives left either. Kylie's trying to this boss. Ooh. It's a bit nasty, isn't it? At least they're not completely homing. Ah, that teaches me to be greedy, wouldn't it? Oh, I've got life left. Don't be greedy. Well, that was a struggle. I can't see him lasting much longer on the next level. Ooh, missed the power up as well. No chance there. Must have got extra life. Can't do well on the extra lives, but yeah. Would have been well dead by now. Oh, that's hard. Right, and guys, so that's Sagaia on the Sega Master System, or Darius 2. Like I said, conversion of the arcade game came out in 1989. Quite an ambitious game, to be honest, for a Master System, but quite an impressive conversion, really, considering what the Master System is actually capable of doing. Especially with that line scrolling fire on the first sort of fire moon level. Quite surprised. I say this gameplay is quite nice. It's Oh, it does have some little differences to the arcade. Like, it doesn't have all the arcade's levels, and it doesn't have the vertical and scrolling, which the arcade does on some of the levels. But it's got all. It's pretty much got the bosses. It's got the same sort of similar layout. Just altogether quite an impressive conversion. Bit of a shame it only came out in Europe. But like I said, the Master System is pretty much region free anyway. So as long as you buy a European Master System, you get to work on your American machine. Don't think it work on a Japanese one though, unless it is the Master System type one, not the SG1 3000. Because they have cartridges that are actually different. Yeah, so pretty cool game. So what would I rate this? I think the sound, for the PSG. It's done some quite nice renditions of the soundtrack. You can actually recognise the soundtrack, so it's pretty cool. So sound is pretty decent. Graphics quite nice as well, really, for a Master System. I'd say it does have that playability problem where it does, when you get the slowdown, it drops a few frames, which can make your controls go a little bit loose at times. But if you tap dodge, you can sort of account for that. It just takes a little bit of getting used to. But all in all, I think I'm going to give it 8 out of 10, because to be honest, the more I'm playing it, the more I think it's quite an impressive conversion. So yeah, if you've got a Master System and you like Darius, hunt down a copy of Sagaia. I don't think it's expensive. Like most Master System games are not really that expensive, which is they're quite good for collecting retro games. And to be honest, the Master System's got a lot of really cool games. But yeah, I don't think it's that expensive. So if you've got a Master System, fancy yourself some Darius arcade action, pick up Sagaia on the UK. So right then, guys, hopefully you like the review. Sorry for not having the borders and stuff, which I've done on my latest reviews, but for some reason my OBS is playing up and will not recognise my Elgato. I have no idea why. I might have to reinstall it and see what happens, but it's not picking up my Elgato for some reason. So I've just had to record it as is, just playing video. So hope you like that, guys, and I won't catch you next week because I'm on tour with a band in Germany next weekend, which is going to be interesting and a first. So hopefully I don't get too drunk and I don't lose all my stuff, because that's not going to be good. So we're driving, so it's going to take a few days. So I'll probably do the next video I do will probably be in 2 weeks' time. So I'll see you then, guys. Right then, ta-ra.